Phantom, how's it going? It's your boy Hardcover, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu Omnibus Volume 1, and we're going to see if this ass-kicking book is worth your hard-earned cash. So, let's get into it. Originally conceived by Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin to catch on to the 1970s craze of kung fu movies and kung fu TV shows, the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu Omnibus has been long sought after by collectors everywhere, mainly because a lot of this material has been out of print for such a long time. Not only has the series been out of print for a long time, but there have been rights issues involving the main villain called Fu Manchu that until recently weren't resolved by Marvel. Couple that with the fact that there were no digital scans available for the series meant that Marvel had to go in, find original issues of this, scan them, put them into an omnibus, and clean them up. Means that this was definitely a labor of love by their department. So you're probably wondering, how are the stories? Actually, they're really good and they hold up really well for Silver Age comics. Written by Doug Monet and art by Paul Gulacy, I was extremely surprised by how fast I was able to fly through this book. There's not a lot of panels in here or a lot of pages in here that have dialogue upon dialogue upon dialogue of exposition that you would normally expect from a comic from that era. The story centers around the titular character of what else? Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi's quest to get revenge on his father, the evil Fu Manchu. Story-wise, I had a blast reading this stuff. If you don't take it too seriously and you just go in and you have fun and you're looking for some campy kung fu Bruce Lee type of material, then you will absolutely love this and enjoy this. There's an issue in here where Shang-Chi karate chops a shark, and that's how he beats him, essentially saying fuck Batman and his shark repellent. Perhaps my favorite moment in this omnibus is when Shang-Chi catches a knife in his mouth and he breaks it by biting down on it. It's super campy, it's super cheesy, but still, it's really fun stuff. I should probably note that if you're somebody that gets offended by the way that people wrote certain ethnic characters and the way that they're referred to in comics and in written literature back in the 1970s, then this book might not be for you. Now, granted, it isn't the good guys that are calling Shang-Chi slant eyes or yellow face or anything like that. It is the bad guys, but still, it was a little bit jarring that Marvel did allow this stuff back then. And yes, I do understand that that is the way that people talked and that is the way that people wrote characters back then, but still, it did catch me off guard a few times. Speaking of villains, this probably has one of the craziest design villains that I've seen in a long time, with a character called Shadow Stalker, who he has a man bun, and the man bun has two maces attached to it, and he swings his head around to attack Shang-Chi. It's something that when I was reading it, I busted out laughing, and I thought, yeah, of course he does. At this point, you're probably wondering, well, what does the inside look like? So let's dive into it. Alright guys, so there it is without the dust jacket. I know a lot of you guys like to see what you're getting. I personally love this. I love this font. I think it looks really cool. And there is, of course, the variant dust jacket right there, so you guys can see that. And pretty sure, Master of Kung Fu. And in the back, the yin yang symbol. Really nice little touch. I'm telling you guys, you can so tell this is a labor of love by the Marvel Omnibus team. Let's go into it. So there, typical stuff you get from Marvel. Look at that. By Doug Monet, Paul Gulacy, Steve Englehart, and Jim Starlin. Really like that stuff. Here we go. Of course, supplemental features. There's a few things back here that are really cool. By the way, for those of you that are wondering, yes, the original letters columns are in here for most of the issues. I'm going to zoom in so you can see, like always, Master of Kung Fu. Marvel always does this with their omnibuses, especially recently. You have the page, you have the original publishing date, the name of the issue, and the issue number. Great. Love it, Marvel. Thank you so much for that. Let's keep going. This is the introduction I'm going to talk about in a little bit. This is the perfect primer to read this. It's an introduction that is written by Steve Englehart, and it's awesome. Awesome. It was written in 2015, and here's the introduction by Doug Monet. It was written in 2016. Read these. I know I'm not usually a guy that'll tell you to read the introduction before you read the material inside of it, but read it. It's a great primer, and you can tell they have so much love for this content. And then you get into it. Yes, the original covers are there. They are in the issue. And just great stuff. I really like that they really did a great job recapturing these issues, recoloring them, and bringing them back to life, because they've been out of print for a long time. The paper is really well done. It's not super thin. Pushing down on it, you can see the page behind it, but it's not that really cheap super thin paper that you saw in like the Fantastic Four Omnibus by Jonathan Hickman and a few other omnibuses that are out there. Yeah, really great stuff, guys. Absolutely love this. Classic. Let's see if we can get into the back a little bit more. So yeah, there's that. A few covers. Little added touches to it. This to me is awesome. There's an alternate cover for the variant. But yeah, not much in terms of special features, but you know, what you're getting here is you're getting a lot already crammed into a beautiful book. Let's talk about the art for a moment, and Jim Starlin does start out this omnibus as the primary artist. However, as you go on, you soon discover that Paul Gulacy took over the art duties, and that's really when the book started to fly for me. It's really when the action started to get better, not knocking Jim Starlin, obviously, because the guy's a legend in the industry, but I do think that Paul Gulacy's movement and Paul Gulacy's kinetic action scenes were a lot better than the stuff that Jim Starlin was publishing, and he was a better fit for this book. I was genuinely surprised at how well Paul Gulacy's art held up, and maybe it's because a lot of this was cleaned up from the original scans, but I would actually say that a lot of his artwork in here stands the test of time, and it actually could be printed on new comics today. That's not to say that everything is perfect in here, far from it. There are still some times where a lot of the art would be rough around the edges, and anatomically you could tell he was taking a lot of inspiration from Jack Kirby's style, where he would draw a fist a lot bigger than the rest of the body to emphasize power and to emphasize kind of a 3D effect. With that said, I urge you guys to look at the art in the context of the time that it was drawn. This was the 1970s. Jack Kirby was king. He was around at that time, and he was publishing books like Fantastic Four that were huge hits. It makes sense that Paul Gulacy would like to mimic Jack Kirby's art style, and for the most part, like I've already said, it really does work well in this book. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that this is probably the most fun I've had with a book in a long time. Is it campy? Yeah, a little bit. But is it fun? Oh, hell yes it is. You kind of have to look at it in the context of when the stories were written. This was written in the 1970s during the Kung Fu craze when everybody wanted to be Bruce Lee. And if you look at it like that, I guarantee you'll have a good time. For those of you that are new to my channel, I rate my books on a pass, borrow, buy, perfect scale, and I gotta be honest, this is a buy. This was absolutely a lot of fun. It's the most fun I've had on a book in a really long time, and the fact that it didn't feel dated also helped it a lot as well. It's also got one of the best introductions that I've read in an omnibus in probably forever, in all of my collection, to be honest. Absolutely read the introduction by Steve Englehart. Really great stuff, and it's a great prep for what you're about to read. Awesome. There you have it, guys. My review for the Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu Omnibus Volume 1. I know a lot of you guys out there have been saying, man, when are you going to review it? I really want to hear your thoughts on it. I'm kind of gun shy to buy it. I'm not a fan of crazy, 70s stuff, but I do recommend you check this out. It's a lot of fun. It's a blast to read all the way through, and I think most of you will like it. Also, as a little tip, guys, if you're interested in this one, I urge you, pick it up soon, simply because of the fact that this is a very limited print run. The rumor is that Marvel will not be doing a reprint of this at all. It's a one and done, so if you have a passing interest in this, this is one that you might want to jump on right away, because once it's gone, chances are it's gonna be gone. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I do weekly reviews of trade paperbacks, omnibuses, hardcovers, special editions, all that good stuff. Check out some of my other videos. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. You're going to find that in the description below. Let me know what you thought of the Master of Kung Fu Omnibus if you read it already in the comments section. And if you're interested in helping me out and you want to get some exclusive videos along the way as well, check out my Patreon. You know what to do. It's in the description. Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.